Okay, now I'm going to do a fun little series on dirty fighting techniques. When I teach this in anger management classes, marriage classes, corporate coworkers, dirty fighting techniques are quite popular because you hear the title and then you think, well, I don't dirty fight. And then you go over these and you're like, yeah, I kind of do that. And then I go over the next one like, oh, I do that one too. So it's always been pretty beneficial for me. So just want to see which of these dirty fighting techniques that you do and trying to help you to do them less often. So the first one is timing. Timing is a dirty fighting technique because we bring up an issue at the least appropriate time. So this comes, okay, I've done it, right? So as an extrovert, I think to speak. No, I speak to think. So that means I have to talk in order that I understand that which I'm thinking about. My husband, usually I'll just go on and on and on. And he's like, what the heck are you talking about? I'm like, I don't know. Disregard 75% of it. And when I'm done, I'll know. But that's what extroverts do. I'll do another video on extroversion, introversion at some point. But in terms of timing, it is bringing up an issue at the least, just the least good time. So usually it's like, well, we need to talk. I just found out about such and such. Can we talk now? I'm not ready to talk. Or he might not even say, I'm not ready to talk. Can we talk later? It might be like, yeah, just, or they ignore you or it just starts a fight. And timing makes you realize, when is it a bad time to bring up an issue? Like when they're hungry, right? You're just walking in the front door, spouse hasn't even had anything to eat, and you're like, look, we got to talk about these bills, we've got to talk about the kids, we've got to talk about, it's like, and if I'm not cognizant yet of my own self-awareness, I might not realize that you're irritating me, not that I don't want to talk about the subject, but that it's bad timing. Now there are some people who are just thinking there's never a good time and they just, no, I don't want to talk. But I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about you. What is your responsibility to bring up an issue at the right time? When someone's tired, oh my gosh, how many clients have I seen that have brought up an issue at the evening? It's like, oh, we can't go to bed angry. Bible says we can't go to bed angry, but you're exhausted. You bring up an issue, your spouse is just like, blah. You guys word vomit on each other. You get profane, you scream, you yell, it's unproductive. You're like, up, truck, and die. I'm out of here. Stop it. And I'm thinking, that's not what the Bible meant. Don't let the sun set on your anger. What it meant was, if you can look at each other and say, we're a little bit too tired. Let's talk about this in the morning. That's not letting the sun set on your anger. That's wisdom. That is saying, we're going to talk about it. We're going to resolve this. But now's not a good time because I love you too much to bring up this issue at a time where it'll be unproductive. So when is it a bad time? When physiological needs have not been met. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm irritable. I just found out that someone's dog died. That is not a good time to bring up an issue. When your spouse is in a meeting, when you know that they've had a tough project on them and they've been working on this thing, it's stressing them out. When your spouse has been home with kids all day and the kids have been screaming and yelling and they just need a freaking break. So I don't have to give you all the examples of when it's a good time to bring up an issue. But I will say this, cut your spouse some slack. Just cut him some slack. If it were you and it was reversed, would that be a good time for you? Would you just barge in? What if your husband's working on the car, or your wife's working on something? When a good time to bring up an issue is when you say, hey, honey, I'm really upset about fill in the blank. Can we talk about it tonight after dinner? That way you've both had time to think, time to prepare yourselves, time to get your physiological needs met. And then it's a good time to talk. So I'm not talking about the resolution. That's not the point of this video. We'll talk about that another time. I do want you to pay attention if you are the type of person that's always like, it's not a good time. It's not a good time. It's not a good time. Well, when is a good time? I want you to be able to tell your spouse, when would it be a good time to talk? Because some of you watching this video right now are conflict avoidant. I'm on my phone, I'm watching this video. Okay, when is that video done? When is the game done? When is this done? So timing can change so many issues in our marriage because, lastly, it says, I love you enough that I want to wait till we're both really good at giving and receiving. I love you enough that I'm not going to avoid you. This issue is not a big issue to me, but obviously it's a big issue to you. And I love you enough that I want to help you resolve it. That's it. Timing. Make sure you have good timing so that you do not fight dirty. Well, next time, you get another dirty fighting technique. Hopefully, if you are a practitioner of bad timing, you can change that. Let me know in the comments below. God love you.